Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. It's day 2 of National Earthquake Awareness Week. This year's theme is Drop, Cover, Hold. Earthquake readiness is within our control. Come, we have another stimulating show just for you. It starts with the news.
2023 was a banner year for the government and people of Jamaica. We saw record unemployment, earned over $4 billion from tourism, experienced 10 consecutive quarters of economic growth, secured historic credit ratings, improved our infrastructure, and more Jamaicans became home and landowners in the year. These and so much more happened in 2023. Catch the highlights in Jamaica Magazine, aired on this station and on social media.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan, and this is your JS News for Monday, January 15, 2024. Jamaica's electronic health record system is now active at the Maypen Hospital. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton launched the system dubbed eCare on Thursday. It is expected to change the way public hospitals administer patient care by utilizing electronic patient registration for appointment scheduling and assigning patients in the triage process.
The features are patient registration system for appointment setting and assignment of patients in the triage process, seamless interface of critical diagnostic imaging that will enable doctors to see X-rays and CT scans on computers and tablets that have already been provided within these facilities. So no more do you have to send for that file and send for that film and hold it up under the light because it comes in on your electronic device.
The system will allow for uploading and sharing health records to dockets across the public health system.
This linking of health records means that cross-matching and information sharing between health centers and hospitals will now be possible.
The launch at Maypen Hospital is part of a rollout in 13 facilities under the Health System Strengthening Program. A structural assessment of the Supreme Court Civil Registry will begin this month. This is to improve efficiency within the Supreme Court system. Chief Justice Brian Sykes made the disclosure during a recent swearing-in ceremony at King's House for judges appointed to higher offices. He added that more work needed to be done in the Supreme Court to end the backlog of cases there.
We're to get an expert to assist us with reviewing the structure of the civil registry, and from the expression of the desire to signing of the contract took about 6 to 7 months, but that is the process that we have to work with, so we are now there.
Justice Sykes says that when the assessment is completed, the improved registry will be reviewed by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service for approval. Following that, our recruitment will get underway for the posts that will be created from the restructure. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green has made a call to action for a more robust agricultural education curriculum. He argues that while there's an agriculture system in place, more work needs to be done to reach children, particularly at the primary level. The minister argues that one of the reasons young people are reluctant to enter the sector is a lack of success stories from farmers.
If we consistently produce sad stories out of agriculture, if every time somebody interviews a farmer, it's about what never worked and how things hard, and we never talk about the money that we've made to send our children to school, then people will believe there's no money to be made in agriculture, and that is part of the challenge.
He was responding to a question raised at the ministry's recent New Face of Food stakeholder engagement event in Manchester. On a positive note, he says that despite the challenges, many young people are turning to the small ruminant side of the industry.
A lot of them are going into small ruminants. I have seen that because a lot of them have seen other people who have started from 1 and reached 10, 15, 20, and they have surmised that it couldn't be so bad if you start at 1 and now you have 20.
Minister Green says the ministry will strategically disseminate success stories for the youth to know that they can have a comfortable life with a career in agriculture. The Richmond Primary and Infant School in St. Mary will soon be in possession of a new school bus to help transport the 155 students that attend the institution daily from 13 communities. Representatives of the Embassy of Japan and the school recently signed a grant contract for the provision of the bus valued at nearly $73,000. The funding is being granted under the Government of Japan's Grassroots Human Security Project and facilitated through the National Education Trust NET. During the grant signing at the Ministry of Education, State Minister Marcia Smith expressed deep appreciation to the Japanese government for its support to Jamaicans. She pointed out that between 2015 and 2023, approximately 18 projects, ranging from the renovation of school premises to the provision of school buses, had been funded by grants totaling $1.54 million. And finally, 11 vendors who suffered losses from a recent fire at the Old Shoe Market in Montego Bay, St. James, have received $60,000 to aid in the recovery process. The money is from the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, and Portfolio Minister Pernell Charles Jr. handed over the checks recently. More than 80 persons were affected when 54 stalls were destroyed by fire in October of last year. Minister Charles Jr. says the 11 vendors are just the first batch set to benefit from the assistance to replenish their stocks.
We have received 43 applications and we expect to get more applications. Of the 43 applications, we have 11 persons here today that will receive a total of $60,000 each, and we expect that each person will receive that amount or more based on the damage to their stalls. And this is our way from the ministry of giving them a start, giving them a support.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Practicing good oral health is essential in maintaining fresh breath and a healthy smile. Always remember to brush twice daily for 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste to strengthen tooth enamel and help fight gum disease. Always brush in a circular motion using a soft toothbrush. Floss once daily to remove food particles between the teeth and the gum line. Use a mouthwash to clean areas of the mouth a toothbrush or floss can't reach. Change your toothbrush every 3 to 4 months. Visit your dentist every 6 months for checkups and cleaning. And be sure to drink water to keep gum disease, plaque, and cavities at bay. Remember, good oral health is key to a healthy mouth.
It was another outstanding year for the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. Let's look at some of the actions that made this ministry successful in 2023.
We are firmly committed to providing the economic environment and resources necessary to ensure that the people of Jamaica grow and prosper.
We are very happy at the PSOJ with the place that we are at, where we're coming from, and where we look like we're going to.
Marshalling the country to consistent economic growth, the lowest unemployment rate in its history, and offering business development grants for individuals to boost productivity can be considered some of the major highlights for the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service in 2023. Jamaica recorded consistent economic growth across all quarters in the 2023 calendar year.
That's phenomenal. That's just good management, good oversight, and positive governance that we can all look to and say, listen, this is something that we should aspire to, even in our own lives, in our own budgets.
To continue to spur economic growth in 2023, development grants were offered to small and medium-sized entities to grow businesses.
Through the Big E program that we have worked on with the IDB and with the IE and with the European Union, there's an innovation grant fund, a patent grant fund, 3 incubators, 2 accelerators. There's never been a better time to be an ambitious entrepreneur.
There are quite a number of businesses who have grown. We've seen growth rates of 50-60%, as high as that. In some instances, people have been able to continue business, so they haven't gone out of business.
The country's unemployment rate was reduced to its lowest ever in Jamaica's history at 4.5%.
The levels of unemployment are also lower today than the historic lows achieved immediately prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. It has never been lower than the 6% achieved in April of 2022.
Jamaicans again did not contend with any new taxes to fund the budget. It was instead announced that the more than $1 trillion budget would be financed by increasing the efficiency of existing revenue measures.
This represents the 6th consecutive budget speech in which we have not introduced any new taxes of the people of Jamaica.
I think it's quite telling when you look at the fact that we have not had any new taxes for numerous years, and we have collected more tax than we ever have. It's because we have recognized that if we lower the rates and make it easier for tax to be collected, we'll collect more.
Adjustments were later made to the 2022-2023 budget, and $10.1 billion was added for payments to public sector workers under the Compensation Restructuring Program. The restructuring exercise overhauled the system of salaries and other emoluments in the public service to make it more equitable.
The 4th supplementary estimates, therefore, makes provision, Madam Speaker, for the implementation across the entire public sector for the full implementation of the first year of the compensation restructuring.
Beneficiaries of the Program of Advancement through Health and Education PATH no longer needed guarantors to apply to the Students' Loan Bureau SLB.
And in addition, we'll waive the application fee for students from PATH households.
The SLB also provided grant support to students on the program.
For the 2023-24 year, students from PATH households or from households with income less than 1.5 million, the Student Loan Bureau plans to make an additional 4,200 non-refundable grants of $60,000. We believe in Jamaica. We believe and support the people of Jamaica.
Once upon a time in a Caribbean island known for its rich culture and natural beauty, lived a group of people who were buried in piles and piles and more piles of paper. Papers spanning back to the start of time. Then came a bright idea, harnessing technology to work smarter and not harder. The government of Jamaica is improving its operations to serve citizens better. Many services are now available online, and there's more to come. The government of Jamaica, building a better public sector for all.
Living a healthy lifestyle includes exercising and eating proper meals. Knowing what's in your food is the best way to get your nutrition on track.
Part of maintaining good health is knowing our nutritional requirements and what is in the foods we consume. When we know, we are able to make better choices about what we eat and empowered to avoid non-communicable diseases (NCDs) such as diabetes, hypertension, cancers, and cardiovascular diseases like stroke and heart disease. In recognition of this, the government encourages consumers to look carefully on the ingredients and nutrition facts labels on foods.
NCDs is a national crisis, and what and how we eat is a contributory factor to developing or worsening. Our message, healthy eating, active living, read it before you eat it. places emphasis on educating and empowering people about the choices made for food consumption. In keeping with our vision for a healthy Jamaica, our goal is to equip Jamaicans to read food labels in order to make healthier food choices.
The fact that more than 70% of deaths in Jamaica are linked to NCD conditions, which are increasing, is enough reason for all of us to eat healthy foods, exercise regularly, and get adequate rest. Like sweet music to the soul, the healthy living message must resonate, and the Ministry of Health is chiming through the airwaves with its public awareness campaign.
You for zoom in on the nutrition facts. It in the table on the side or the back. Vitamins, minerals, and vitamin 20% and more that good for you. You for zoom in, check the nutrition facts. You for zoom in, check the nutrition facts. You for zoom in, check the nutrition facts. Less sugar, less salt intake, and less fat.
It is our collective responsibility to take stock of the health impact of excesses in sugars, salts, and fats, and take steps to reduce consumption.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness, through the Nutrition Facts Panel media campaign, is fast-tracking its response to the scourge of non-communicable diseases (NCD) by getting more Jamaicans to zoom in on what's in their food. The campaign is a collaborative effort of the Ministry of Health, the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, National Health Fund, and the Jamaica Association of Professionals in Nutrition and Dietetics.
I think this is a great start, and it supports the other things that we're doing, like school nutrition policy, the physical activity program, the elimination of trans fats, and so on. We have to see it all related and linked and make the push to get it working.
Preliminary findings of a recent baseline evaluation survey for Nutrition Facts Panel Education campaign show that while 70% of Jamaicans have a general awareness of Nutrition Facts Panel and 69% express a positive attitude towards them, only 30% are able to accurately interpret and apply the information on them. Ingredients on food labels are listed from the greatest to the least amount of nutrients. Pay attention to things like fats, sodium, and sugar, of which you are to consume a percentage daily value of 5% or less. Keep these in mind as well. The general daily limit of added sugars is 6 teaspoons or 24 grams for women and children, while for men it's 9 teaspoons or 36 grams. Your fat intake should be 6 teaspoons or 30 grams, including 13 grams for saturated fat. The general daily limit for sodium is less than 1 teaspoon or 20 grams. It's also recommended that we reduce consumption of foods that have a percentage daily value greater than 20%. Choose foods that are high in dietary fiber, minerals such as iron, calcium, magnesium, and potassium, and vitamins. Go for products with percentage daily values greater than 20% for these nutrients.
It is important that Jamaicans learn to read and interpret the Nutrition Facts Panel with its information on serving sizes, calories, nutrients, and percent daily value for the individual intake. This will empower people to choose foods that allow them to maintain energy and the appropriate nutrient requirements, particularly sugars, salts, and fats.
So, next time you go shopping, remember to read it before you eat it. And don't just read it, do so and make the best nutrition choice for your good health.
All motorists, pedestrians, private and public operators, motorcyclists, it is important for us to drive defensively. Driving defensively saves lives, and we know that lives are most important to each and every one of us. It is important also to be trained and certified as a defensive driver, for it increases the likelihood that you'll prevent collisions on our roadways.
How many of us know what the correct response is when someone has been struck by lightning? If you are in doubt about what to do, this feature should give you an idea of how to respond.
Lightning. It is a very impressive geophysical phenomenon that produces the loudest light and the loudest sound. As we know, it's very prevalent in the summer months, and for Jamaica, that actually means that it's also prevalent in our hurricane season. It may cause direct effects or indirect effects, and the direct effects are usually due to the effects of the current. The indirect effects are the associated injuries that are involved. These may include multi-system injuries, neurological injuries, both immediate or delayed, burns, and depending on where you are and what happened in the middle of when you were struck by lightning, if you had trauma, you may have blunt trauma. And the blunt trauma may, as you can imagine, affect any system. When we are responding, we need to ensure that we have the chain of survival involved. You need to get early response. You need to call for help. If it is that the person has had a cardiac or a respiratory arrest, we need to manage that early, because you can resuscitate the patient, and typically the individuals who are affected are young and those who do not have any cardiac problems. So with early resuscitation, you can get a positive outcome, and this means the person does not have to die, right? In terms of the resuscitation, we're going to use this typical airway and cervical spine control. And I'm going to stress on this. Sometimes you have persons who have been struck by lightning and they have fallen. If they have fallen, they potentially have, and depending on how they fall, of course, you may have injury to your cervical spine. So we need to take care in terms of when we're resuscitating them and when we're moving them, to ensure that the appropriate spinal immobilization techniques are borne in mind. If they're not breathing, we'll have to breathe for them. If it is that we need to restart the heart because the heart has stopped, we can do this by external chest compressions or by the use of a defibrillator and defibrillating the patient. You may realize that there are quite a few automatic external defibrillators placed in strategic areas across the country. They're relatively simple to operate, and usually when you have an AED present, whoever has it, if you're trained to use it, I'm going to ask that if the situation requires, right, go ahead and do so as per instruction. You need to pay attention to the weather forecast. We all know that the Meteorological Office of Jamaica issue weather forecasts. We really need to pay attention to them. If you hear thunder, you are in striking distance of lightning. If there's a thunderstorm, the safest place to be is within a well-constructed building, right? Away from water. So this is not the time that you really should be running pipes, washing, having a bath. You need to be out of water. Water is a good conductor of electricity, and if you're indoors and touching water, you may have a problem. You need to stay away from electrical wires. You need to stay away from all electrical devices. If you're outdoor, the most dangerous place that you can find yourself in is at the highest point, or at something, beneath something or an object that will translate to be at the highest point. In other words, standing under a tree or a very tall tree is not the place for you to be in the middle of a lightning storm, right? If you can move indoors, please do. If you are in a body of water, remember water is a very good conductor of electricity. You need to come out of the water, be it pool, river, stream, any body of water. Stay away from water. If you happen to notice that your hair stands on ends, for a matter of speaking, the advice is to actually crouch down low as you can, go on your tippy toes, cover your eyes and cover your earlobes, basically curl up into a ball and on your tippy toes, right? So you're as low to the ground as possible with as little contact with the actual ground as possible. If you're in a vehicle, you need to roll the windows up. Do not touch the outer frame of the vehicle, and the vehicle should be grounded. The exception is a convertible. If you happen to be in a convertible, whether it's flat top, soft top, hard top, please come out of the convertible and find an appropriate area. It's not a good place to be. If you are a victim of lightning, please seek medical attention, or if you observe somebody who is a victim of lightning, get medical attention to them, right? It is actually very safe to touch the victim. Call for help. The lightning victims can be revived using cardiopulmonary resuscitation. If you are trained in CPR, and that's cardiopulmonary resuscitation, and the situation is such where this is what is needed, go ahead, right? But it's for the trained person. And with that, stay out of water, away from electrical wires, seek appropriate shelter, and listen to the Met Office. When the Met Office has issued a bulletin, take heed. Thunderstorms may have lightning with it. Severe weather in terms of that may come with the risk of lightning. If you hear thunder, lightning can strike you and you are within striking distance.
The transformation of the force took a major step this in 2023.
We continue to expand the quick response unit.
We have also been exposed to greater training that enhance our investigative capability.
And we've also upgraded our microwave system and radio network.
Watch the review in Jamaica Magazine on January 16, right here on this station.
Thank you for being with us here on Jamaica Magazine. Do join us again tomorrow for another interesting journey. Of course, you can visit our website, gis.gov.jm, for more news you can use. On behalf of the entire team here at the GIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thank you so much for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.